So home is the main page here. Obviously gorgeous artwork. But let's look at the features here. So these are game modes. So fighting ground. What is that? So continuing the tradition of being a genre leader, the pinnacle of fighting games, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's all in here. What is the drive system? I mean, I like this UI. This looks colorful, vibrant. I don't know if I like that the two player... I mean, I do like that the icons are different here, but the player health bars being different colors gives me an indication maybe the character type is different. You know, like player 1, player 2 side. I get it. Like, we don't need that big of a difference. Like, I guess in this way, you know whose life bar is whose, like if they switch sides, stuff like that. So, could be good in practice. I visually don't like it because it looks like so childish to have like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not necessary. It's not as confusing as like other esports, right? I do like this though. I don't know if this is, I guess this looks like super meter. And then this is the drive system, I'm guessing. Okay, simpler controls will let you improve your offense and defense with good timing and can unleash attacks with flashy visuals, allowing you to experience the thrill of the fight even more. Game screen. Vitality, yep. Health bar. Timer, of course. Standard. I like the purple. Looks kind of like NFL jerseys. I think that's the same font. Character icon, yep. Oh, and the control type being used. Oh, so M and then C. Okay, gotcha. Like this, it looks pretty good. I hope the lighting's not done because like the graphics, I don't know, if you can't get as good as Tekken 7 when you're trying to do this kind of style, or if you can't get as good as Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, like you got to do better than this. I hope this is going to be polished like maybe twice the length or twice the level that needs to be. Drive gauge. Perform various attacks when the gauge is empty, the fire will enter burnout and not be able to use drive-related techniques until the gauge is replenished. Okay, more questions for later. Round count, of course. Okay, so it's going to be at the top. Oh, purple. Yeah, I guess it's fine, whatever. Spin this gauge to perform devastating super art. Every attack that lands will fill up the gauge. You can fill it up to 3 stocks. Okay, so like Third Strike, that's kind of cool. Or even like Fexel. But instead of showing you each segment like they would in Fexel, they're showing you, in bars like in Third Strike, which I think is interesting. And Super Art Gauge also carries over between rounds. Okay, so like standard Super Meter, basically. From Street Fighter 5, you should be familiar. Let's close this. Drive Gauge. So it's available as soon as the round begins. So maybe like Alpha 3 isms, like A-ism and X-ism, you get, or V-ism as well. You get all, basically in Alpha 3, if you don't know, you get full meter at round start of the first round. So you don't care, you don't, in round 2, you don't get a full bar again. It's just whatever you have from round 1. But at the beginning of a match, you get full gauge. I don't know if it's going to be the same, or if it's going to be each round it goes back to full. So if in round 1 you use up all your drive gauge, you have 0 drive gauge at the end, and then round 2 you have 0 drive gauge. I wonder how that's going to be balanced, if so. But I guess we'll see what you can use drive gauge for. Yeah, burnout state, disadvantages. So basically you don't want to ever fully use up the drive gauge. You want to use some, but not all. Okay, I guess unless it kills or wins you the round. Whatever it does. So it's key. So when to Gambo, allow for deep, high-level battles. That sounds interesting, actually. That sounds pretty cool. I guess what it do... Okay, drive impact, drive parry, overdrive, drive rush, and drive reversal. What the fuck is that? Okay, drive impact. Drive gauge cost. A powerful strike that absorbs an opponent's incoming attack. Perform this on an opponent backed into the corner to induce a wall splat, even if they block the attack. Ah. So R2, R1, okay. And then one button for the... Yeah, I gotta look at what the 2 input methods actually do. So this is kind of like focus attack combined with wall splat ender if you're close for Killer Instinct. Okay. Drive parry. So I'm assuming you can only pick one of these. Like these are the things you pick at the beginning of a match or a round, or of a like character select, which could add some unique stuff. So the fact that everyone has these options, as long as they work exactly the same, I think that's interesting. Parry, okay. So it does cost drive gauge to use parry. So actually look at consumption. So one whole bar for one of these moves. So absorbs an incoming attack. So I don't know if it's 1 hit, 2 hits, all hits. Hopefully 1. And hopefully there's moves that break that. And I guess like some drives will be better against other drives, like kind of like matchups, kind of like isms, kind of like grooves, kind of like Fexel Gogi system. Like some decks counter other decks, stuff like that. Obviously the character choice will matter, so that'll also depend. So sometimes the character combined with a deck will work better than some other characters, right? So could be interesting. Automatically repel the opponent attack and replenish drive when performed successfully. Okay. Perform a perfect parry by parrying just before an opponent. Okay, so red parry, sort of, but in the sense that you can perfectly just frame a parry. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder what I guess the good thing is that it's tied to meter, so you can't just, it's not a crazy game mechanic like Third Strike. I mean, that's another issue altogether, but interesting nonetheless. Overdrive costs 2 bars. Press 2 of the same attack. Press 2 of the same button type instead of 1 into Overdrive Art. This is the same attacks as EX special moves in past games. Okay, so you only have EX moves if you pick the drive for it. That's interesting. So square. Okay, I hope. Okay, so this is for Hadoken. So I hope you can not have to. You can pick any 2 buttons. It's like light, medium, or heavy, medium, medium, light. I hope that's what it is, but that's what it seems to be showing. Anyway, drive rush, 1 or 3. Okay, perform a quick rush forward from a drive parry or a cancelable normal attack. Drive rush from a parry costs 1 drive stock, while drive rush from a normal attack costs 3 drive stocks. Oh, so it's a dash. Okay, so it's dash canceling. Okay, so are they telling me that you have access to all of these mechanics at once? So these are not selectable then. So you get parry, drive. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, if these aren't choosable, then this is something completely different than what I'm imagining. Okay, I'm curious. That's a big difference though. 3, and then how many do you get here? You get 6. So basically half your gauge. So focus FADC costs half your bar basically from Street Fighter 4. So I imagine something like this. Yeah, very interesting. Okay, I'm curious. Drive reversal. Okay, so is this V reversal? Is this alpha counter? 2 bars. Okay, so you can use it 3 times because there's 6 stocks, right? Perform a counterattack while blocking an opponent's attack. The damage is low, but help you get out of tight situations when you're under pressure. Yeah, this is V reversal. I hope this is... So I guess the question that'll come up when we get the game in our hands is, can you bait this like with throw like you could in Street Fighter 5? I thought that was nice, but V reversals were not that strong. Like the damage wasn't that strong. The knockback wasn't that advantageous. It is interesting. I'm not saying V reversals were not interesting, but I prefer the method of alpha counters where they're like very, very powerful, right? At like resetting back to neutral or something like that. Cool. That's all of them there. Control type. Street Fighter 6 offers a new control type mode to play without the need to remember difficult command inputs. Okay, so they're copying Fexel's progressive and classic system. So I'm very curious how this works. So modern. So modern is what I'm not going to be using most likely because I like motion inputs. Because I like to buffer a lot of the time. Allows you to perform special attacks with a simple button designed for players who want to fight without memorizing blah blah blah. Okay, so R2, hold down the button. So R2 while holding down a button to attack repeatedly. Assist. Oh, so they've dedicated a button to assist. Oh. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Oh, that's cool. They have both. That's nice. Nice quality of life feature. Throw is L2. So there's a dedicated throw button. And then drive impact is L1. So... Okay, and then drive parry is R1. So drive impact was the... Impact is this. So you have focus attack and then parry on the other side. And then light attack, medium attack. And then heavy attack? Oh, there's no... Hold on. Is this not a 6-button fighter anymore? Whoa. Whoa. Looks like... We don't know if this is a 6-button fighter or not, but I guess we'll find out. Hadouken with a single button. Triangle. Hadouken. Okay. Tatsumaki. Shoryuken. High blade kick. So they don't want to call it donkey kick, or this is an evolution of donkey kick? Is this... Okay, now the big question story-wise, this is aside a little bit, but is this after Street Fighter 3, or is this still before Street Fighter 3? I hope this is after Street Fighter 3. That would make it way more interesting, because then maybe this is an evolution of the donkey kick. Maybe the actual translation is high blade kick. I don't know, but people call it donkey kick, so that's a question. This I'm not super opposed to, because Fexel does something similar. I just hope it's balanced otherwise. So like this here, like I don't know if you... I don't know, like if you actually have... Yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see when we scroll down, I guess. Shinku Hadouken. Shin Hazo Geki? What is that? Is that a new fireball? Okay. So he's got a new super that seems to involve the Hadouken as well. He has a regular... Okay. So super arts are triangle and circle. So special move and heavy. That's pretty fair. Fexel supers aren't like this. Usually in Fexel for progressive, you do back forward or forward back. So there's some directional element, but it's not as easy as like button and then a direction and 2 buttons. This is more akin to like Power Rangers. Makes me a little worried, to be honest. A little worried, but I guess we have to just see it in play, right? Assisted combos. New wrinkle for the modern control type. Press the assist button and attack button to unleash a flurry of attacks. Okay. Assisted combo. So you press it and then... Okay, so stand short fireball. Does this only work on... Okay, here's a question. Does this only work on hit? Because if not, if you can just buffer this, that's going to be amazingly cheap. Like, you don't have to buffer anymore. Like, why would you pick the other command type if you could just buffer with, like, 2 button presses, right? So if this only works on hit and not on whiff, and it can't be buffered on whiff, then I think that's fine. I don't know, we'll have to see. Assisted one, so pressing X instead. So this is medium. So you're doing Solar Plex Strike, looks like. Mini Hadouken. Close range Hadouken? And then super. Yeah, because this... Look at the stance here. It's here, right? The stance is... Let me zoom in. Whoa, no, I lost it. Anyway. Look at the stances here. Like, he's leaning forward, Hadouken. And then this is EX Hadouken. So he does like a close range blast, something else. And then assisted combo. So he has the axe kick, it looks like. That's his leg going up, right? And then high blade kick into DP and then into super art. Okay. Interesting. And that's it for that one. Classic control type. This is what I want to know. Traditional 6-button fighter layout that needs no introduction. So this is the standard. Oh. So you give up punch, kick. Okay, so I don't think anyone's going to pick this. If you want to be competitive, why would you choose this option? This is made for casual players. How do you differentiate between kick or punch? That's the biggest difference here. Like assist is very weird. I don't know. This is very odd. Yeah, because it seems like this is going to be... If you can't choose between punch and kick, if you're going to be competitive, you should always go for this, because having a low versus having a non-low is a very big deal in fighting games. I don't know if anyone watching this is aware, but this seems very weak. Like, sure, you can do moves a lot faster, but you give up having a low. I guess you still have throw, and you have your parry and drive impact to one button, but you could do the same thing with classic, right? Because then your two left shoulder buttons are, or your left trigger and your left shoulder bumper is free, right? And yeah, throw is going to be just pressing two buttons together at the same time is not difficult. And then if you put it on pad, you can just macro it, right? So, and then drive impact is R2. Okay. So no 3-button presses for mechanics, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, Hadoken, Tatsu, Shoryu, high blade kick. So they're keeping half circles, which is interesting. I do like that. I wonder if they made any changes to, because I really want them to include something Mortal Kombat 11 did really well, and Mortal Kombat X and Injustice 2, is having the ability to manipulate your inputs a little bit. So basically turn off things like negative edge if you want to, adjust the input leniency. So Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6 are probably going to have a very lenient input shortcut system. So you can do like down forward to get a shortcut DP. I don't like how loose it is. So if it was made a little bit tighter than that, I think I would be pretty happy, but we'll see. This is a really nice feature. I do like this commentary thing. I'm really happy for Vicious. Very happy. And Aru is such a freaking hilarious hype commentator, so I can't wait to hear. I hope there's a lot of flavor. I hope there's not just like, 2 or 3 messages that they say in the neutral and stuff like that. I hope it's quite deep and varied, and there's like hundreds of voice lines, because it could get very, very annoying. Okay. World Tour. Did we get all the modes? Let's go back. Drive system, control type, real-time commentary, modes, battle hub. All right. Ultimate place for players to seek out friendly rivalries. What you can do in the battle hub. Stay tuned for more news. Coming soon. Oh. So my big thing about this is I hope to the cap gods that they're not required to play ranked and access menus and all that sort of stuff. I hope to God they're not pulling an Arxis and giving us like a lobby where you run around to the screen, you run around to this option, you run around to this option, and you select, and you have to find the specific person. You can't just search, you know what I mean? Please don't take a page from the anime community. Please don't take a page from that. Other than that, if this is an optional mode for maybe you can get collectibles, maybe this is Battle Hub, it can be tied to story mode in some way, like we saw with the open world stuff. I think that's cool. Then I really don't mind. World Tour. So World Tour was an amazing mode in Alpha 3. If you don't know what it is, basically what it is that you have a character that you choose at the beginning of the mode, and you basically take them across different matches, different circumstances, and different matchups, whatever, and you basically can upgrade them in certain ways. I can't remember exactly what you can upgrade, but you get stronger, you can buff defense and certain other fun stuff. It's a very good mode, and I highly recommend you guys check it out if you can access the Alpha 3 console version, because obviously the arcade version doesn't have that. So immersive single-player story mode, okay, that is completely new experience that defies genre labels. Carve out your own legend on the streets. Look for more news on World Tour in the near future. Okay, so we know nothing, basically. We know that you can run around. We know you can uppercut people. So what it looks like to me is Conquest mode from Mortal Kombat Deception. And that's cool. That's fine. Looks probably more interactive than that because you can climb ladders. You can do a DP, which you can't do in Conquest, I guess. But no, it's interesting. I hope that the things you unlock in single player mode, I hope you can unlock by doing. I guess what I'm hoping for is that I hope whatever you unlock in one mode, like single player, let's say, if you have no interest in playing single player, I hope you can unlock it in another way without paying money. That's my big hope. Like, multiple modes where you can unlock similar or the same stuff is 100% necessary, I think, in a fighting game. Or any game, for that matter. But, yeah, I definitely don't want things like loot boxes, and unless, like, the loot boxes are not random. Or if they do include that, which I think a big miss on MK11's side was that you can't just pay, you know, 40, 50 bucks to just unlock every single skin, every cosmetic, whatever. I think that's a big missed opportunity for MK11. So I hope that Street Fighter 6 doesn't repeat that. Characters. So Chun-Li looks okay. She looks pretty cool. She looks better here than in the gameplay, that's for sure. Yeah. She's very cool. Yeah, like the game looks better in framing, like not in motion. And obviously, like I said, I think the lighting is not done. But it looks interesting. It looks good enough to be in a trailer for sure. But like this is really weird. I don't know why this is overexposed, like up the wazoo. A little too much. And then let's go back to theme and voice. Oh, Jenny Kwan.
Ready? Then show me.
Oh, so it's the same voice actors from the first, or from Street Fighter 4, I believe. Let's go Ryu. Yep, Kyle.
This will be a good fight.
That's cool. Hates spiders, really? I didn't know that. He looks more and more like Kyle Herbert. Funny enough, if you look up a picture of him. Yeah, like this pose could be stronger. This looks like a casual fireball. This looks like a real person throwing a fireball. I think they could have made the, like, this is why you use keyframe animation to push this pose, because this pose is, it's fine. Like, it looks more realistic, but, like, it would be nice if he just leaned in a little bit more, straightened the leg a little bit more, not so bent, and, you know, have the arms, or, like, reach out a bit further, right? That's just animation 101, just for appeal. But I get that they're going for the RE look, the realistic looking thing, but I feel like this is a missed opportunity because, and like mind you, this looks gorgeous, right? But no, I'll just never be a fan of it compared to more stylized realism, right? The further I feel like the further we get away from stylized realism, the worse the game will look. Because where do you go from here, right? You go even more fidelity, and there's no like projectiles. There's no, you know what I mean? Traveling, PC games, wacky t-shirts, hates horror games. Oh my god. I will say Luca looks a lot better. I don't know why in some shots though he's blonde and some shots he has brown hair. That may be like a Vega thing. He just dyes it. I don't even know. Like his natural hair is brown possibly. Yeah, he's still got the Popeye. Like yeah, it looks pretty good in screenshot form. Yeah, like this looks cool. And last one. Jamie. Jamie looks... He's nothing new. Oh, I could have been searching through this way. Anyway. Nothing new, really, but... he's kind of interesting. I'm sure he's going to have some fun stuff to do. Peacekeeper aspires to be examples set by Yin and Yang, the twin dragons. An expert dancer. Okay. So Yin and Yang are basically going to be much older. That's what I imagine. So they might make an appearance in the game here. His costume looks cool. It's very, you know, nothing fancy. Just a Chinese garb. Detailing on the pants is nice. He's got a ridiculously long Shaolin-like hairstyle. It could be cool. His super look kind of interesting. Oh, there you go. That's him with full hair. So I guess they're going to be rivals. I'm very curious to see what the rest of the roster is going to look like. That's for sure. This is going to be a interesting thing to follow as we see more footage, more announcements. This seems like a drastic shift in a direction. I'm not sure if it's the direction I would like. We don't even know if this is free to play yet or not, if this even costs money. That's another interesting question to figure out. But yeah, I'm excited for the future. If the game is fun, I'll definitely play it. To what degree, I don't know, because I'm not the biggest fan of how Street Fighter has handled parries. But seemingly everyone is getting access to a ton of mechanics, and hopefully they learn their lesson from Third Strike, you know, to not skew character balance so much. And I think they did with Street Fighter 5 and maybe at the tail end of Street Fighter 4, so maybe things will be better. I think parries in general are better left to system-based character games, or system-based games, not character-based games. But yeah, very exciting. All right, guys, I'm going to head off. I'll see you guys in the next video.